Good evening, guys. Welcome. So, looks like Leviasynth is the talk of the evening. I'm not surprised, honestly. So we'll talk about Leviasynth in a little bit. I'm watching the comments here. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, so we'll get to that. Let me push that one there. I think is the one I want. Yeah. Just get a little background sound going. Or a big background sound going. What the heck? Yeah, that's the one. Anyway, turn it down a bit. So anyway, good evening. Thanks for coming. The what's in the jam for tonight is really simple. Honestly, I'm just going to tell you the one thing that's in the jam. And it's Ultra tonight. All Ultra, a Ableton Live drum kit, and the session percussionist, and that's it. I mean, really, you've heard all the sounds are slightly different than they were before, but basically the same stuff as the last couple of weeks, just because it's fun and I like it. And so anyway, let's see. Chat. Okay, so I'm going to go through the script in the order that I have it in. I look a little pale tonight, or don't I? Let's add a little color to the lighting. Hey, Kurt, good to see you. Oh, and Danny, good to see you as well. I'm not sure. And Tony, thank you all for coming in. I'm going to turn on that light, I think. That'll probably help warm things up. Yeah, it's a little better. All right. So I'm going to jump into the Leviasynth is on the list, but a couple other things first. Let's see. Let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into the show. Well, let's just start. I think Apple have lost their minds, and this after the guy who's just bought another Mac. But anyway, so in a world where everyone is grousing and pissing and moaning and unhappy and has been unhappy about the concept of software subscriptions, Apple launches a software subscription. It's just like, you know, what are they thinking? What's going on? Or am I missing something, which is entirely possible? You know, so here they've got the software subscription. You get the big toys. You get Logic. You get Final Cut and some other thing. Their photo thing, Pixelmator Pro, which is okay. So these are supposed to be going up against the Adobe counterparts. But you know, so you get those. You get some additional. Gummies for their free stuff. You know. Yeah, finger on the pulse of what people want. You know, and so you know, so they're going to charge you $13 a month or $129 a year, and it still doesn't cover, you know, things that Adobe's exorbitant pricing does cover. Like you don't get a Lightroom equivalent; you have to buy that extra. Oh, and that's another. Another subscription. I can't remember what the price on that is. So you know, you have to do a subscription on top of a subscription, and oh, by the way, we don't also include any additional storage in your iCloud account. You know, Microsoft for $130 a year gives you everything they've ever made and a terabyte per user, up to 5 users of storage in the cloud. Adobe includes some level of storage in the cloud in their package. So I just don't know where Apple's coming from here. Yeah, yo-ho, no, exactly. Mixmaster, how are you? Good to see you tonight. So I was just ranting about Apple's new Creative Suite thing. I mean, there's some other stuff in there. There's compressor, but that's kind of like, that comes in Adobe Suite too if you're going to rent it. But, the other side of that is the basic level of compressor is included in iMovie, of all things, which comes free with every Mac, So I guess, I don't know. I can't see what they're thinking about here. I don't get it. Am I like off base here? Am I like, or have I missed something here? Now, to their credit, I will say that Apple are continuing to sell one-time purchase for their major software. And that doesn't seem to change a whit from what it used to be. You buy it, you get updates. So I'm not sure what Apple's thinking here. Now, at least from what they're presenting to the consumer, from their standpoint, subscriptions, and from Adobe's standpoint and Microsoft and everyone else, a subscription is a wonderful thing. Because they're going to get a monthly income that they can budget around. Fender Studio Pro 8. Yeah, I used to use Studio One, and I'm sure it's still a great product. It wasn't working for me for the way I work. I will be interested interested in knowing how the Fender Studio Pro 8 compares to the old Studio One. I used Pro. I kept my license for Studio One up through version 6, and that's when I dropped out. When I decided that I was going to go all in for Ableton Live. And I haven't looked back. So, hey, George, good to see you. So, Mixmaster, you saying you finally got it installed. Was it trouble to install? Because I never had any problems with installation with the PreSonus version. Another botched rollout. Yay, Fender. But I don't know. I don't know what software people are thinking. Like I said, I understand the logic, so to speak, in people wanting developers wanting to have a consistent income. I get that. That makes good sense financially. It's probably a bean counter decision. More than anything else. That's really all I can think. You're not going to upgrade Studio again, Tony? Is that what you're saying? Well, like I said, I made the move to Ableton 3 years ago, and typical. Yeah, well, that's really what it gets down to. And I guess like everything seems to be heading towards, or almost everything seems to be heading towards some level of software as a service, which, again, from the bean counter's perspective, I understand it perfectly, but users by and large hate it. Yeah, so he explained it. I get it, sort of. Again, it's they're not in touch Well, so that's the thing, Tony. When we buy software, we don't own it. We own a license to use it. So there's no real difference from that standpoint. We don't. I bought Ableton Live. I bought Omnisphere, and that gives me a license to use it. That's all. And they can revoke that license anytime they want for whatever reason. Maybe. Maybe I own it, maybe I don't. I've seen software just go away. I've seen in the past software licenses end. So you can get kicked out of the house or kicked out of the apartment. It's like. So anyway. Well, yeah, I mean, so when you're on a subscription, now when you're on a subscription service, I mean, it should be downloading itself automatically. You shouldn't have to download, it should just do it. I mean, that's one of the things that's supposed to come with a subscription is, automatic updates. But, much of the software that I buy, comes up when it's time to upgrade. Like the Affinity Photo Studio and Publisher Suite tells me when an update for the suite is available, and I push the button and it downloads and installs. Or I can wait until the end of the session if I've got to get in and get work done. It'll do it automatically for me when I close the software. Ableton Live tells me it's downloading the new version in the background when there's an update. And it installs after I exit the current session. A subscription should be doing that for you automatically all the time. Now, in the case of Studio One moving to the Fender house, I can see them wanting to roll out a new software management scheme. Battling to get cop to leave them alone. Yeah, well, Microsoft is branding their whole world around Copilot now, and they don't even call Microsoft Office anymore. It's now called Copilot 365 officially, or the Copilot app. Those are the official names now. Hasn't rolled out to all the pages on the website, hasn't rolled out to all the marketing BS yet. Pizza. And so I still have Windows here because I have to. There are reasons that I still need to have Windows. And so I have one machine in the house with, we now have only one machine in the house with Windows 11. There's a Windows 10 machine that will be a Windows 10 Pro extended service pack, good till next year sometime. Still running in the basement. It will die in the next couple weeks. And I have that one running just because it's the computer that runs the business that I'm closing. So, it goes away. Windows will be down to one computer here. Because you may have noticed the last couple of weeks, the laptop that was sitting back here has been giving me problems, like chat not starting up automatically correctly, glitching, losing the Stream Deck control and stuff like that. I got tired. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Yeah, it's okay. I'm just ranting and raving, because, that's what I do. So anyway, replaced that aging Acer with a new Mac Mini. So now the studio is Apple for everything. My day-to-day work is Apple for everything, with the exception of a little bit of client work. And if I can figure out how to make that go to Apple, it'll go to Apple too. There's just a couple applications that I need to be able to use for consulting work that I can't run on Apple, can't run on Linux. So, and I'm not playing Linux in the wine game. I've done that before in my life, and it was not good. So anyway, the software subscription horse has been beaten. I got my rant on that out of my system, and I don't think I'm missing anything. Fender Precision thinks too much of Ensoniq. Well, so and what was it? Gibson bought. What was the DAW that they bought and killed? Was a nice DAW too. Yeah, I could dual boot a Mac into. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know if you can. I guess so. You might have to run Parallels or something like that. Yeah, opcode, the opcode thing. Had a different name though, I thought. Anyway, I don't know that you can run Windows natively on Apple Silicon. I think you have to run some emulator in there to make it work, and I don't like emulators. So I'm, but like I said, the requirement for Windows goes away soon. Cakewalk went through some hoops to end up where it is. What's there with who's got Cakewalk now? Is that Yamaha that's got Cakewalk? Someone's got the Cakewalk World, and somebody a Roland. Cakewalk was bought by Roland. Steinberg was bought by Yamaha. That's right. Yeah, I mean it's yeah, I'm not going to play those silly games. I just don't have. I don't. It's the amount of stuff that I have to do. If I have to do it, they can get. They can pay me to come in and work on their Windows machines. Why'd that camera drift down? Anyway. So that's like I say, the new Mac, the new little Mac Mini is doing, it's handling the chat server, it's handling monitoring of the stream, and it's handling Companion for the Stream Deck. In a couple of weeks, I'll be using it as the send, upstream send for Video Ninja for the Gallimaufry on the 29th or whatever day that is. Whatever the last Sunday of the month is. There'll be announcement on the channel soon. So anyway, I'm in a ranting mood tonight, apparently, because I have another rant. Those of you who know me know that I really start to pop something when I see these creators running around with their little wireless mics going like this and talking to them like they're a handheld mic. It's if you got a lavalier, it should be a lavalier. Mine's blending in nicely right there tonight, and so that's one thing that drives me crazy. Get the right mic, or if you can't get the, and what set me off on this? Let me show you what set me off on this. This guy has taken his little wireless mic and clipped it to a spoon. this ain't better. It's probably worse. You know, if you're going to be a professional creator, use the tool correctly. If you're going to, yeah, I mean, they're great. They're great mics. Don't get me wrong, but there's at least 2 companies out there that make a stick that looks like a microphone with a place to clamp your little wireless mic. It looks great. You put a windscreen on it, no one knows. It looks like you have a real microphone, you know? Yeah, an RE20 hanging around. It's, you know, the guy looks like a real dweeb with his mic stuck on his spoon. What's he gonna do? You know, is he gonna go out and make a cake when he's done with this? You know, I don't know. Mixing spoons belong in the kitchen. That's just all there is to that. You know, get the right tool for the job. All that stuff. You know, handheld mics are very good. Handheld mics. You know, good handheld mics are $100. You know, half decent ones are $60. Buy the right thing. Damn it. Anyway, I saw that. I actually, that's a screen grab from a video that I saw, and I'm like, really? I guess, you know, I don't know. I do have a friend who refers to things with cables and a massive cables being Mama Celeste's kitchen. So maybe the guy is going off to do pasta, make pasta after he does his stream. I don't know. This was from some guy's actually produced video about camera using proper camera lenses or something. I don't, and maybe that was his point. Well, no, it wasn't, because I watched the whole thing to see what he had to say about lenses. You know, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, cable pasta. You know. So anyway, so let's talk about the new shiny. Yeah, you know. Because you know I had to do it. No, I haven't ordered one. We were just chatting about this on the. You know, I had never seen that guy's video before. It popped up in my stream. And yeah, I know what you were saying, Jeff. I got it. I don't know what prompted that guy to pop up in my stream. You know, I don't know, but there he was, and you know, the title thumbnail didn't show anything like that. It looked fine. So I went and watched the video, and pop comes the fade up from black, and there he is with his mic on his spoon. So anyway, Leviasynth. Conceptually, I dig it a lot. And I will say they had me at morph. Yeah, they definitely nailed the name. You know, now there's been some chatter going on in one of the discords, in the synthseeker Discord, about it. I'm sure Jeff has seen some of it, and if he's been on tonight, you know, apparently there was the initial design. Hardware couldn't handle all the software design or desires, so they, you know, rebuilt the hardware. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic synthesizer, and the concept of being able to do morphs, actual real morphs between algorithms, is really cool. Somebody. Oh, never mind. Release the Kraken. your what is that? I can't see the Delia. I'm not sure what that one is. Zozilla the Great, welcome. Let's see, this analog filter. Yeah, I mean, it's a great sounding synth. And I'm not, you know, I don't have the money right now, honestly. I'll take a look at that one. In fact, I'm going to go ahead. Let me see if I can do. I'm going to spin around here and open up my Notes app and add that note to. I need live streams tonight. What I like here, what's really cool about this Mac thing is I'm looking at my notes on an iPad. I can spin around here and add to my notes right from the Mac. So I'm looking at so motorized knobs. Motorized knobs to me are a neat idea. To me, so my problem with motorized knobs, and I don't know about that one specifically, but I've seen a few with the motorized knobs, and they're very noisy. And if you're trying to have a quiet studio and you're making changes, hearing the knobs bang around is distracting. And I have the same problem with. It's not in the room right now, but my Yamaha mixer has flying faders, and I've got some other things with flying faders. To me, they're noisy and distracting. So, and there's something else to go wrong. Like channel 16 on my Yamaha mixer, it's a little sluggish. There's, you know, so I don't, and I don't even know what Yuli's new flagship is. I haven't been paying attention because, you know, my path, as much as this thing is like, ooh, gimme. My path is really towards. My path is really more towards software, but that morphing the FM algorithms is just, you know. And so we don't have a date yet, but Danny is going to come down here and we're going to do the Op6 thing in the next few weeks. Whatever that, we're gonna make it happen. It's just things are just so damn busy. But oh, that thing, yeah. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about that. And that doesn't interest me that much. The Juno doesn't interest me that much. You know, been there, done that. When I first got the Yamaha, the faders were virtually silent, and over time they started getting noisy and rattly. You know. Yeah, probably. Anytime after the 4th. Okay, Danny, we'll get it set. I do have to go. Oh, that's right. How is the kitten doing, Danny? And I have to do some stuff middle of the month. I have to be away for a couple of days. Yeah, it's all just a VST in a box anymore, unless it's truly analog. You know, and a lot of that can be emulated in a VST now, but you know, so anymore, with the exception of actual analog, you know, It's all a VST. It's all software. I would love it if ASM would come out with both Hydrasynth and Leviasynth in software. That would be awesome cool. Oh, so Wednesday, it has not had the surgery yet. Okay. I'm sure the kitten will do just fine. See, I don't even know what a BQ10 sequencer is. I have literally been paying no attention to what's new in hardware. It's until this thing floated out the other today, I guess, yesterday, whatever it was the first that was the first piece of hardware I've even noticed, honestly, and not even that. Not even that interested. I mean, I am. It's like but $2,500 is a little steep right now, and I think I can't remember what the desktop unit is, but I just don't like desktop synths. I like synthesizers with keys on them. I'm a piano player, Yeah, well, that's true, Paul. It is a lot cheaper than the Polybrute 12 voice, and I'm not even. I was. I don't know that I need a Polybrute 12. I'm glad that I've kind of slowed down, backed down a little bit, and taking a chill. I haven't used any of the actual analog stuff except for the modular in a while. I mean, I know I powered it on to make sure it still works when I wired everything back up, but I don't know that I need more Polybrute than what I have. This one's fine. I don't know that I need more hardware synth than what I have, honestly. He offered Bill's $2,500 for a Jupiter 8. 2017. That was a long time ago. Surprised at how long ago it was. Of course, I'm also coming up with stuff lately that's even older than that. Not in the synth world. I got rid of pretty much anything older than that some time ago. But anything, let's see, 24-step sequencing, single 16-step. Oh, that gizmo, yeah. That does look interesting. That does look interesting. Add a 0 on the 8. I did see that float, Mixmaster. Add a 0 on that, probably land the 8. Oh, yeah. Would have been a good deal back then, absolutely. I don't, yeah. I was going to say, I was going to, voice opinions on Jupiters, but they're, the problem to me with the Jupiter is they're so darn ubiquitous that I don't get excited by them. I don't get excited by a lot of Roland stuff, honestly. So 2017, was Don still there, Paul? When you were, see, it's not supposed to be. Oh, that's there. Never mind. Was Don still at Bill's in 2017? I can't remember. Recreating the past. Yeah, exactly. Well, and so that's why stuff like, you know, this, like Ultra, and stuff like, and honestly, stuff, you know, stuff like this. That's why this interests me. I'm interested in new things. I'm interested in things that are different, and open up new possibilities in sound. And because I've come to the realization that, yeah, I like making music. I have a good time making music. But what I really love is designing sounds. And you know, and I love doing it on the computer. It's you know, and you know, I can make all kinds of really cool and weird sounds that do things that, you know, I couldn't do this easily on hardware. Yeah, it's like, you know, I've bought a lot of stuff that honestly I would have been just as well served just to go ahead and buy the software, you know, if it's in a software version, you know. And honestly, if I need any of those, most of those old classic synths, I have them in software, you know, if I need the sound. And honestly, what I'm going to do is sample it and tear it apart and put it into Ultra or Pigments or, you know, whatever, and use it as a sound source. I do have the multi-poly VST. And the only issue that I have with the multi-poly VST, and it's the reason I'm actually going to be probably hanging on to the hardware for the multi-poly longer than the others, is that the multi-poly VST is it's a beast on processor. Even on you know, M1 Max machine, it's a beast on processor. But I really like that piece of software. That's a great piece of software. So you said rolling Roland nostalgia. It's about the same thing, you know. You know, take my comments on Roland with a grain of salt. I'm not a Roland guy. I've had Roland synthesizers over the years of various kinds, you know, or had use of them, and they've just not jazzed me. You know, and so that's, you know, they've always looked really great on paper, but then there's like 2 or 3 user interface or usability, user experience issues. Hey, Sean, good to see you. There's always something in the user experience that is stupid and makes it, for me, difficult to use effectively. I guess I know what you're going to be playing next jam, Paul. You're going to have one of the Rolands down, I'm sure. Yeah, make sure they work. The SH4D looked interesting, but it's not my kind of way of making music. Yeah, I don't know if I would give up that Vismo. That thing sounds great. I didn't get a hold of Roland synths until, you know, later in my career. But I have owned a couple of Roland modules. I've owned, see, I had an RS-70 for a while. I had a VR-09 of my own for a while. My old musical partner had a 106 that I used a lot. I almost bought the original Phantom until I discovered a couple of, you know, little stupid things in it. You know, I just, every time I get, like I said, every time I get on a Roland, I find something weird that gets in my way, and causes me to have some sort of angst. Usually live. You know, it's like usually something I run into, and it's a live situation. You know, and as far as, you know, their some of their other stuff, I don't like the feel of their 88 key keyboards. They're like, it's like playing a row of cucumbers. You know, and they just don't do it for me. You know, there were, now that said, there were I liked the D10 and the D20 a lot. Those were nice. Those were nice, inexpensive, good sounding, and they had a decent key bed, but they still had the couple of stupid errors in them that just make, so one of my Roland issues is kind of stupid. Most people will say it was kind of stupid, but it's a problem for me. And again, it's a live issue. ASF, good to see you. You know, it's a live performance issue more than anything else. And so when I was playing in bands, I was playing in multiple bands. And so some of the bands played in standard tuning, others played tuned down a half step. Very common, you know, at all levels for some bands to play down a half, you know. And so the problem is that in a lot of the Rolands, the way you save your favorites or you save your set or whatever is in what they call a registration, and registrations save the tuning of the keyboard. So if I had an electric piano patch, for instance, that was one of my favorites, and maybe I customized a little bit or whatever, and I would save that in a registration. So I'd have to save it twice, because a lot of the bands that I played in played the same songs. So, you know, so if I call up that electric piano and I've saved it in standard tuning, you know, then I'm playing in the band that is tuned down a half. I have to remember to call up the preset and then tune down a half, which when you're live on stage, you don't have time to mess with that. You call up the preset and you go. And most everyone else has the tuning, you know, the transpose as a separate function. Because if you change the global master tuning, that gets overwritten in the registration. That's why they never worked for me. You know, the registration stores the entire state of the keyboard, and you know, so I had to save 2 of every preset. And make sure I was in the right preset bank. And it's just, you know, just stupid things like that, you know, that I decided I didn't want to fight with anymore, you know. And, you know, of course, yeah, I've got other things I fight with. I fight with Korg. Yeah, I used to fight with Korg stuff all the time, but I kept going back to Korg. And I don't know why I never latched into Yamaha. Yamaha does, of course, Yamaha's got their own weird stuff. Their set list and favorites functions are out of whack too. But yeah, that was a deal breaker for me with Roland. And it's just, you know, there are things that Roland did really well. Their electric pianos are awesome. Their Rhodes sound is just hard to beat. And their organs, their Hammond organs are, you know, they're excellent. So anyway, that's that. What's it? 10 and 9, 5 of 9. So I was going to talk about classifying synths. And this is kind of a personal thing. Let me get set up for that though. When I go into, and since I moved to the Mac, I haven't gone through and redone this, but let's, and I've never really even learned how to do it effectively in Ableton Live. There's a couple different ways you're supposed to be able to do this. Let's do that. So, Danny, Yamaha have seemed to learned largely from that mistake. Although all the DX series synths were, you know, their user interfaces were dreadful. When they got into the SYs and some of the ones after that, they kind of got their act back together. I had an SY35. Tony and I have talked about the SYs. And the user interface on that was actually pretty good. I really enjoyed that synth. And my first Yamaha was a CP35. The user interface does not get simpler. The randoms in the DX7 could get ugly real fast. No, they probably won't. You're right. You're right, Asaph. Especially the version of it with the that didn't have the actual, but the first version with that stupid membrane control panel thing. Those things were just bad. At least with the DX7 too, they put actual buttons on it. I don't know, Danny. I mean, you know, FM, as Korg have proven, FM does not need to be difficult. You know, yeah. I mean, the Op6 makes FM very easy. And the new Yamahas, like if you get into the Montage and the Modi X's, the FM synthesis on those is actually nice and easy to get around too. Yamaha learned, but yeah, like you said, they're going to be. They're gonna get grief for that for a while. The multi-poly software is great, but like I said, it's just processor heavy. That's all. You know, and that's so I just have to I have to think about what I'm doing. I think I have to think about what I'm doing with it. Yeah, that's true, Danny. I mean, FM does have a reputation as being hard. I think the worst part of it is that people think it has to be science, and while there is indeed science and math involved, you don't necessarily need to know that to make to do good sound design in FM. I mean, you know, or to do any sound design in FM. Actually, I mean, you know, let's open up a track here. Insert MIDI, grab this, and I want up 6. Stick that there, boom. Interestingly, you know, so I will say that the hardware for Op6 is better than the software. It really is. Get this set up so it comes out the right place. Here we go. Because on the Op6 hardware, I mean it's really apparent what's going on just by color codes. Now they've done color coding for it here too. I mean, you know, your reds are your carriers, blue are your modulators, and it's just, you know, it's just a matter of knowing. Let's do this. Let's turn. Let's kill all. Okay, something is all killed. You know, basic electric piano right there in 30 seconds, you know. So FM doesn't have to be hard, you know. It's like, now it's obviously a really simple patch, and I don't want to dig too deep into it because, as I said, yeah, I kind of agree, Danny. I do like the hardware of the Op6 a lot. I think it's really well thought out. Let's see. Catching up here. Wave state or multi-poly? Well, so multi-poly and wave state are completely different synthesizers, and Danny's right. What is it you're trying to achieve? Yeah, they are not similar. Where there's similarities would be between multi-poly and mod wave, but only some, you know. So like Danny says, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And that's always determine your application before you decide what the tool is that you're going to use. That way you're getting the right tool for the job. So if, you know, what you want is, you know, the concept of being able to do virtual analog, you know, analog sounding stuff with a few twists, then multi-poly is your answer. If you want to be able to do things that change over time in really interesting ways, then and ways that you're not going to find in any other instrument, then the wave state is the way to go. And I agree. Yeah, absolutely, Tony. Everyone has the ability to stand well on their own. As I said, the place where there's any kind of crossover is a little bit in multi-poly and mod wave, because they do both do wavetable synthesis. You want to sound like Danny. Even if you have a wave state, I will tell you, sounding like Danny is going to be that's going to be a serious challenge. I will say, I started with the wave state, and I find that the wave state is in my mind, is the hardest one to get your head around. But if you get your head around the wave state, then the rest of them fall in pretty easily. And once the light bulbs came on over my head with the wave state, and I haven't done anything with it in a while, but I need to get organized so that I can, getting things in a more effective manner. But once I got my head around the wave state, it was like, wow. And that's one of the things that I like about Ultra too. There's some wave state-ish components going on in the way its wavetables work. And I think we talked about this a little bit. This is a pretty vanilla wavetable in this one. But if we go into the wavetable editor, let's see. Oh, where's the clicky? Doop, doop. Da, 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 da. I gotta find the clicky. Where is it? Where is it? Ah! This is what happens when you don't. Here we go. So you get into the wavetable editor. The wavetable editor here has a stereo lane of oh, you're not seeing it. Jeez, I'm an idiot. Let's see. Boom. Here we go. So the wavetable editor in Ultra basically has two wave sequences that run together, and you can see if you're watching those two white bars, that's where each wavetable is in its passage of time. And those wavetables can be like, can be up to 30 seconds long. Interesting. See, I understood the mod wave early because I've been doing wavetable all the time, and it just didn't, the wave state didn't sink in. Mod wave. Oh yeah, the SQ80 waves are fantastic. The Ensoniq stuff was so well before its time. No two ways around it. Okay, I'm looking at this one. Okay. So you can see in the engine as the thing is playing, you can see where it is in the wave, in the resultant wave. For these down here are the stereo results of the action that's going on up here. So it's very, and you can stack up a whole bunch more in here. This one just happens to be pretty simple. One thing I have found is if you get too out of control with the number of things in here, it gets a little bit crazy. But you can import 30 seconds of audio and stereo in here, slice it up and use it, and rearrange it and use it as a wavetable. Okay. All right, Jeff. And I will be out of. Oh, just busy. Okay. I'm still going to get out of the way. Try and get out of the way at 9:30 because I like to be on time. SQ80, was the SQ80 the first of the trans waves? Let's see. SQ80. Oh, let's see. Ensoniq's update to their first synth, the SQ1. The SQ80 was the first to have their Poly Aftertouch keyboard. I think Did they call it? So, yes, Paul, the SQ80 was transwave. So I'm seeing transwave synthesis in the SQ80. We can look at it. We can load up an SQ80 in software. Let's see here. Let me grab it. Now the SQ80 in software is a little bit enhanced over the original. Where did I put that extra track? Oh, here we go. Stick it in here. No, I don't need a... Oh, let's see, I have to remember how it works. Yep, they're transwaves in the SQ80. That was loud. What a, you know, I love this when we chat about this stuff that I pull up the software because I remember what a wonderful synthesizer this was, you know. Of course, this also makes me wonder, SQ80. Let me look at something else here. This says this revved up ESQ1, 70. I'm looking this up. This waveform includes multi-sample transients, LFOs, blah, 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 blah. This doesn't tell me anything worthwhile. Let's see. What I'm trying to find is the actual user manual online. And this is not that. All right. I used to have the manual, even though I didn't have the synth. Yeah, that's not what I want. Well, anyway, here we go. It's downloading the manual. Oh, geez. You've been looking at the synth while I've been running my app. What I mean is transwaves were not originally in there. Yeah, I know that it adds features, the SQ80V. That's what I'm trying to look up and verify with Das Buch. Let's see. Got 2 copies of the table of contents. Okay. Gateways polyphonic polytimbral. 8 different sounds, voices. Okay, so they're using something called, they're calling it crosswave at that point. So the trans waves were not, so the question is, what's the difference between a cross wave and a trans wave? See if I can find a definition of what a cross wave, what they're calling a cross wave, and how that translated or moved into the transwave world. Cartridge. So I'm scrolling through the manual as quickly as I can. Disk drive, battery maintenance, programming. Let's look at, I got the original. Let's do this. There's an init. All right, yeah, so you're right, Tony, it is just a lookup thing in its original waveforms. But I did not know that trans waves were in yeah, trans waves are more like the wavetables that we're used to today. I'm looking at the chat, just catching up. So I didn't remember trans waves being on the EPS series. That was, I thought the EPS was purely samplers with some synthesizer function. So that's interesting. I did not realize that. Interesting. Interesting. Interesting, very interesting. Also makes a pretty quick electric piano though. Let's see. If I do, let's turn this one on. I say turn it on and give me a square on top of it and give me an envelope that does something like that. Oh, that's right. These had these through zero envelopes. That was a cool thing about these guys. Multi-stage through zero envelopes. And now I want to take envelope 2. Oh, and do this, and we're going to grab envelope 2. Which unfortunately I don't think you can make work as, let's see if we turn that down and turn that upward. Seeing, yeah, Danny, we're seeing you. Yeah, creative. Creative's the scourge of the. Oh, hey Luke, welcome. Yeah, you're late. Very late. I'm only gonna be on for another 10 minutes or so. Let's see. Danny, seeing the message goes with tagged user. Oh, so the tagged. YouTube has broken a bunch of their tagging stuff apparently, and still haven't gotten it fixed. So, heck, that vibe coding nonsense, huh? Well, yeah, I don't want to code. Yeah, and so for a while there, Danny, it looks like it's still the same way. People's screen names weren't coming through correctly in the chats. Is it that way? You look over here. Yeah, it's still not working right for them. But I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be able to tag somebody in the chat. As far as I'm concerned, any coding is and nonsense is redundant. But that's me. I got out of coding so long ago. I don't even want to think about it. So I don't know why you wouldn't be able to tag somebody, Danny. Let's see. We'll try it from over here. Well, it shot out of here and popped up. I don't know if it actually highlighted you in the chat, but it did. It doesn't on here, but it should highlight on yours. I don't know. I have no desire to write any more lines of code than I need to for myself. And I try very hard not to need any for myself. You know, and even then, the coding that I do would be so basic, and you know, I'll bat around in PHP code a little bit if I need to for a website, and I'll do some coding in SQL for queries and stuff like that. But other than that, I want nothing to do with it. And even that, like I said, I don't really like to do. So anyway, so Luke, you missed my discussion or my thoughts on Leviasynth, but you know, you probably caught the gist of it in chat on Discord. So anyway. Yeah, I just figured out other ways to deal with it. I will say I got the new Mac set up to do its whole boot up sequence automatically now. The only thing that I can't get to work exactly the way I want, I'll figure it out eventually. I would like for the chat thing. I still have to manually start the chat. You know, other than that, everything just now on the Mini just pops up, including the monitor mirroring. I'm still not getting the monitor to mirror the way I want on the MacBook, but I'm trying to do 3 monitors, and it's griping a little bit. But I'll get there because, you know, it does want to try. Hey, how you doing, Andy? Good to see you. Yeah, passing by, busy night. From Anaheim. So, you know, Luke, if I get one, it will be months down the road, and I don't know. I like I said, they had me at Morph, and so, but it's down to, as I said earlier in the stream here, my path is more towards the box, and that's just really kind of the way I'm leaning. So anyway, I think that's going to do me. It's coming up towards the end of time for the night, so I appreciate everyone. The specs don't suck, Luke, and I will also tell you it sounds really good. It's very interesting, but I'm certainly not going to jump in early. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. I know Jeff took off. Paul's been here all night. George and Tony and Danny and Kurt and everyone else who's stopped by. I do appreciate it. Good to chat with you all. I am going to make some music and then crawl off and go to bed. So again, thanks everybody. We'll see you next week, if not before. Cheers.